But we're doing it. Let's watch a Disney Channel movie.
That's right, Matt. We are watching a Disney Channel movie. In fact, 32 of them today, going head to head in a madness bracket. These are like the OGs. Matt handpicked these movies and also the seeding for this bracket. Our primary focus with this was kind of capturing the ones through the late 90s and early 2000s.
Yes, and we made a few rules. If it was part of a franchise, it didn't make the cut. And if it was part of a sequel, it didn't make the cut. But yeah, those are the rules we made. It kind of made it more simpler, but I'm pretty pleased with our selection.
And also, the panelists, Alden, Josh, Jory, and myself, have created summaries for all of these who are in that Gen Z audience like ourselves who might not have caught all of these movies initially.
And that's on period, right? You know, Gen Z?
Up first, we've got Under Wraps going up against Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, the first Disney Channel original movie, and also the network's first attempt at making a horror-themed film. Under Wraps is about three horror movie geek 12-year-olds who sneak into their dead neighbor's abandoned house and find a mummy in the basement. Wacky shenanigans ensue as the group try to return him to his sarcophagus by midnight of Halloween before he turns to dust. I personally think that this film is pretty bold for the first entry in this like format of children's programming. And I also appreciate the casting of Bill Fagerbakke as the voice of Patrick Star is what he's most known for in SpongeBob SquarePants.
No way. It's Patrick the Star who plays the mummy.
And the stepdad, yeah.
You know, for the longest time, I thought this movie was actually called Unwrapped, but that's just the food show with Mark Summers.
Unfortunately, there's no trivia in my summary, but I'll do my best. When Lynette Hanson grounds her two oldest children, they hatch a plan to sneak out by finding someone to take their mom on a date. Unfortunately for them, the guy they find turns out to be a sexy vampire. Youngest child is the only witness to his mother's new beau's transformation into a bat. He takes it upon himself to hire famed vampire hunter Malachi Van Helsing. The two then buddy up on an adventure to stop his mom from enthralling her and feasting upon her blood, while the other two children try to keep mom's date going until they also discover the true nature of this beast. This movie is extremely cheesy, which I got the gist was like the whole deal with a lot of these movies because I missed the boat on most, if not all of these. But out of all of them that I watched for this video, this was easily my favorite. I love this movie and I highly recommend it.
I agree. I enjoy it more than Under Wraps, though I respect Under Wraps for being the first Disney Channel original movie of all time.
What really stuck out with me is actually the opening scene of the entire Disney Channel original movie craze that is still going on over 23 years later. In Under Wraps, this movie starts with actually a Nightmare on Elm Street parody, like a serial killer on the loose who essentially off camera kills a dad by shoving his head down a garbage disposal. This one's really charming to me, and I really like the kind of found father dynamic again with like that mummy and the stepfather dual character role. I think it's very unique compared to a lot of the other scripts later down on this bracket.
Nate, you explain things so well.
I'm going with the one I've seen. This might be unfair. Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
Like Nate, maybe not as much as me. I do enjoy a good father-son arc. And when Nate mentioned that about the mummy, you know, I'm going to give my vote to Under Wraps.
Oh, here it comes.
All right, Alden.
We're tied up.
I am leaning towards Under Wraps though, so I think I'm just going to commit.
I gotta say, the poster for Under Wraps, they were really excited it was the first Disney Channel original movie.
It was the Iron Man of its day.
This next one is hard, is very hard.
We have Halloween Town up against the cult classic Don't Look Under the Bed.
I know Halloween Town is a classic. Everybody watches it still to this day. It's like almost as up to par as Hocus Pocus as when the Halloween season comes. The thing about Don't Look Under the Bed, one, it's the most terrifying Disney Channel original movie that they ever made. And it was so terrifying that in 2006, I'm pretty sure, Disney Channel ceased like all the annual rebroadcasts of it. So there was a period from 2006 and honestly up till now to Disney Plus where you could not access this movie anywhere. I just enjoy this on how much of a gem it is and how long it was kept in like the Disney vault.
I like Don't Look Under the Bed a lot. It reminds me of the Goosebumps television show in a lot of ways.
Halloween Town, the town, not the movie, is the only place where the supernatural beings can live a normal life. But now there are sinister forces of evil threatening to take over Halloween Town. So the witch known as Aggie Cromwell travels to the mortal world to enlist her family to help save the town. When they follow their grandma back to Halloween Town, they are shocked to find out that they not only come from a family of witches, but are now involved in a fight against the evil. Yeah, this was a yearly watch for me for a while.
I think it's pretty clear where the panel is leaning on this one, because I'm also leaning towards Don't Look Under the Bed.
The cultural relevancy of Halloween Town is something that can't be understated. And while I think that the sequels do have a steep drop off in quality after the third one, there is some really good like world building and characters in this Halloween Town that made it stand out as a cut above the rest from pretty much most of the other movies on this bracket.
Some great use of practical effects too.
And you can really see every like drop of the $2 million it cost to produce this movie. Honestly, has aged a lot better than other kind of novelty special effects heavy things of that budget, like Babes in Toyland. This is honestly way more charming still, 20 something years removed.
Oh, Nate, why do you always phrase things so well? If you really want Halloween Town to go on, by all means, Nate, do it. You know, you're Megan's boyfriend. I still have to.
That's my name.
The thing is, I was the one who came up with this theme, okay? I know Don't Look Under the Bed is not going to make it, probably down to the final two.
I'll tell you what, Matt, I didn't think I was going to get out of that first round with Under Wraps. I'm willing to give you Don't Look Under the Bed.
Yes!
Thank you, Megan's boyfriend.
Josh, what is the 13th year about?
So in my research, I found some Letterboxd reviews that I had to just quote, because in 1999, all he had to do was be the most popular kid in school was be named Cody. One by Zara. Damn, how come this little shit got to be a mermaid and I didn't? What's better than a mermaid or more man? Children's movie. You probably say a lot of things, but you are so fucking wrong. This movie deserves every award. God, I wish I turned into a mermaid when I hit puberty, but we all can be mermaid orphans dropped on a stranger's boat. Only the lucky few, I suppose. I love when he's on the ceiling of the locker room after he's walked in on, while in his half mermaid form. Mermaids can't walk on walls or ceilings, but no rules apply to this kid apparently. I think about being a mermaid every single day.
All right, so the 13th year is going up against The Luck of the Irish. One of the more memorable ones from my childhood personally. Luck of the Irish is about 15-year-old basketball player Kyle Johnson who relies on a lucky gold coin for his success. He discovers that his mom is Irish and that he is in a bloodline of leprechauns and has to break the spell by defeating an evil leprechaun, Seamus McTiernan, who steals his lucky coin. One interesting thing you might know about this film is there's actually a 2012 Bollywood remake called Luck Luck Kai Bat that sounds really, really interesting.
Whoa.
13th year might have come out first, but I'm totally on Luck of the Irish camp here. It is a way more entertaining movie upon rewatch for me.
Yes. Like, there's like this nice motion to it. It's not as like, I don't know, still and corny as a lot of the other Disney Channel movies during that time. But this movie is also really corny, and it knows it. Like, it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Luck of the Irish is my favorite Teen Wolf ripoff.
Up next, we've got the two surfing movies. We've got Johnny Tsunami up against Rip Girls. Johnny Tsunami is the story of Johnny Kapahala, a Hawaiian surfer teen who lives happily with his parents and grandfather, surfing legend Johnny Tsunami, until one day his father gets relocated for work in Vermont. At his new school, he gets bullied for his surfer dude aesthetic, even though in today's Vermont, he would be worshipped as some sort of chill, lib-left deity, and decides to pick up snowboarding because it's as close as he can get to surfing. Then, after, more montages of being bullied, Johnny wagers his grandfather's rare surfing medallion to race a skier for sharing rights of the mountain. Johnny wins, and the family throws a party for Johnny as he is no longer bullied. Jory, what is Rip Girls about?
Bro, who even cares? Johnny Tsunami wins.
I've been told by Letterboxd that this is one of the most capitalist Disney movies ever made.
The basic premise is like she owns land in Hawaii somehow. This like vaguely Hawaiian looking girl who has two white parents land in Hawaii for some reason. And she's like trying to get in touch with like where she comes from, because apparently she is Hawaiian in this movie, and like learning to surf is a part of that. But they're also this like corporation that wants to buy the land and like turn it into a resort. And obviously she rejects that because every story that goes this way does it. But like, bro, Rip Girl sucks.
Man, I've seen that entire storyline in Hallmark movies at least 6 times.
We're moving on to the Alden Spectacular Round, where he is going to tell us about the climate control theming of the ultimate Christmas present and racism being dead due to the color of friendship. Take it away, Alden.
Allie Thompson and her friend Sam find Santa Claus's weather making machine. They tried to use it to get a school snow day and not have to turn in an assignment. I would have done the same thing as them. In fact, I did, but the machine gets out of hand and threatens to ruin Christmas. Allie and Sam then team up with Santa in an attempt to save the day. I don't think this movie's good. I barely remember it.
It's not bad.
It's surprisingly charming, but I want to hear about the color of friendship from you, Alden.
In 1977, which was desegregation period in the U.S., Black Congressman Ron V. Dellums and his family welcomed a South African exchange student, but expecting a student of color, they are surprised when a white South African arrives. The exchange student, being part of the apartheid system, was expecting a white family. And for those who don't know, the apartheid was really bad segregation in South Africa that continued until the 90s legally and still continues to this day because they did nothing to actually fix the problems caused by it.
What's funny is like just reading the plot of this, you're like, wait, this is a Disney Channel original movie. It sounds like it's like a new A24 film or something. Like,
and it came out in 2000.
The color of friendship on this, I just think it's a clear winner. It's aged well like fine wine.
I agree.
I think the ultimate Christmas present starts off really strong, and I love the fact that Santa is somehow able to control the weather. This is like some like Alex Jones conspiracy theory that's actually like really funny.
You know, in my canon, the president is the Cory in the House president in The Color of Friendship, and he does help the characters after the events of the movie.
We got Alley Cat Strike, the Disney Channel original sports movie about bowling, up against Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
A group of hip, retro teenage outsiders become involved in an inter-school bowling rivalry. An actual quote from the movie: "Nobody seems to want to bowl anymore. Alex."
The big like achievement in this film is, I believe, Alex trying to master the 7-10 split, and the way it's captured in this film is really cinematic. The rest of it's garbage. I don't really care about this film.
Every time when I'm at a bowling alley, I think of this movie and I try to do that move and it never works.
The alleged baseball prodigy Eddie Ogden really likes to cook, which for some reason his friends and dad, who was also the baseball coach, make fun of him for. Eddie enters a major cooking contest, which turns out to be on the same day as the baseball playoffs. There is a problem where he has to decide if he should play for his dad and friends or if he should follow his dreams.
Yeah, it's better than Alley Cat Strike. It really is. I know I'm Mr. Name Dropping Matt on this podcast, but when I'm friends with Bobby Flay's daughter. But when I met her, she like mentioned, "Oh yeah, my dad's Bobby Flay." I was like, "Oh my god, I love Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off."
Well, of course, your name drop. You were Stephen King's son. You had a lot of famous friends. This walk, so Ratatouille can run.
We got Xenon, girl of the 21st century, up against Stepsister from Planet Weird.
So Stepsister from Planet Weird, got a one-sentence descriptor for you. A teenager's life is disrupted when her mother falls in love with an alien.
Word.
Word.
In my research for this film, I think it takes place in the same universe as the Blade Runner movies.
You might be right.
Xenon Carr, a 13-year-old girl who lives on a space station in the year 2049, gets into some trouble and is banished to Earth. With help from some Earth friends, she must find her way back. I think Xenon is a replicant.
The cultural relevancy of Xenon can't be understated. The hip outfits, like bright colors. This is exactly what people in the 90s thought 2049 would look like.
And they were right.
I had the biggest crush on Kirsten Storms. Besides the pink Power Ranger Kimberly, dude, I was so in love with Kirsten Storms. I went on her website and I wrote her like an email saying like how much I loved her, thinking she would respond.
Damn. Did she ever respond?
No, she didn't. She didn't respond, guys. She did never respond.
Real quick, what was everyone's sexual awakenings?
No, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Double Teamed and The Other Me.
Will Browning accidentally create a clone of himself when working on a science project? It takes place on the planet Camino. It's the Jango Fett origin story.
The Birch twins' lives get a little shaken up when their dad makes them move schools to get sports scholarships. But there's something a little different about these girls. They're both 6'1". Can these girls successfully make new friends and live a normal high school life? That might just be a tall order. Then starts playing basketball and begins to totally cramp Heather's style before they meet a cute boy and Heather breaks her leg. After a miraculous recovery where Heather plays on her broken leg with her sister at the last game of the season, the two sisters are finally best friends once more. Also, Jellyfish Jam plays in the finale where the two of them play on opposing teams of a WNBA game.
While The Other Me on surface seems like a really cheesy movie, I think it's actually really funny. The clone just wants to have more out of life, and I feel like any kid can kind of relate to that because, they just want to get by and accepted. This kid kind of sees a reflection of his own self, of what he's capable of. Double Team, yes, it's based on a true story, but apparently, it's a total stretch from what actually happened with, the two sisters.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. This movie is not good.
Let me run you down the synopses for these real quick. The Phantom of the Megaplex is the story of Pete Riley, a 17-year-old assistant manager of a 72-screen Cineplex that is supposedly haunted by the phantom of the projectionist who was still in the smaller movie theater that was demolished to make the Cineplex. Mickey Rooney plays Movie Mason, an old guy who volunteers to work at this Megaplex. The Riley family solves a Scooby-Doo-esque mystery to find out who the Phantom really is. In a film where nothing has any major consequences and acts of attempted arson are rewarded with promotions, this film now only serves as a reminder as to why, perhaps, AMC and Cinemark both filing for bankruptcy isn't really that bad of a thing. Filmed partially in New York City, Get a Clue is pretty much Gossip Girl before Gossip Girl for an even younger target audience. Lindsay Lohan ends her 3-movie Disney contract starring as an investigative gossip journalist for her school newspaper. She and her friends snoop around the city trying to solve the mysterious disappearance of their teacher, Mr. Walker.
So I was today years old when I found out Freaky Friday had a theatrical release and it wasn't a Disney Channel original.
Dude, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is not on a Disney Channel original movie budget like that. Coming down to this, obviously, yeah, we choose Get a Clue. I love Get a Clue.
We got extreme sports coming up next. We got motocross up against Brink.
And this movie kind of unlocked a memory for me, that I totally forgot. But when I was a very young kid, I really wanted to be a motocross racer. Still to this day, I've never driven a motorcycle in my life, but besides that, this movie actually has a lot of charm to it, and I think it's better than She's the Man. Hot take.
Alden, tell us about Brink.
Andy Brinker is the head of a group of inline skaters who don't take corporate sponsorships, but then predictably, Brink's family starts having financial problems, and he's obviously forced to join a sponsored team. However, Brink then finds out that the captain of his new team is resorting to sabotage. Seeing how corporate lobbyists paid politicians are corrupt, he rejoins his original team in a tournament against the other team, ditching the sponsors.
The way they capture inline skating in this movie is surprisingly competent, especially compared to movies like Double Teamed, where they have laughably bad sports montages.
If you look at story by Upper Motocross, it says William Shakespeare.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it does.
But I'm going to argue Brink over this.
But I'm fine going with Brink.
If there's any movie in this entire bracket that does exist in the Blade Runner universe, and it's not Xenon, it's definitely pixel perfect. Computer nerd Roscoe wants to help his friend Sam and her band, the Zetabytes, by using holographic technology to create a new dancer for the band named Loretta. Their first gig, a school dance, Loretta steals the show. The novelty launches the band to fame overnight, and Sam gets jealous that Loretta is taking all the credit for her band. While having an argument, Sam insists that Loretta isn't real, and then Loretta becomes self-aware and decides to break free of her program, escaping into the internet. Loretta is a no-show for the band's next gig, and Sam tries her best to do Loretta's dance routine and falls so hard she puts herself in a coma, and then Loretta takes over Sam's body. Then they recreate the ending scene of Blade Runner with the Tears in the Rain monologue as Loretta becomes overwhelmed by Sam's depression and shows her how to overcome her anxieties. Then Sam's body gets struck by lightning and Loretta leaves her body assumingly dead. The Zetabytes perform a final time in loving memory of Loretta's passing. On the last chorus of the song, a fifth voice joins the harmony, and a ghostly apparition of a Loretta, who is still a hologram, mind you, appears to be the band's guardian angel.
Bro, when's the A24 remake of this movie? Because like all the themes about AI that I'm hearing and the supernatural, like I'm about it. We need this.
I think, Alden, you've got Smart House, right?
Yeah.
Don't undersell this, please.
Don't worry, he will.
Ben Cooper, 13-year-old computer whiz, helps his widowed dad win a smart house. But he doesn't want his dad to date now that his mom is gone. So he reprograms the AI named Pat to be a surrogate mom. However, just like Pixel Perfect, the AI escapes whatever and becomes their own person. She begins to take on a life of her own and starts to become an overbearing mom and cause a lot of problems for him and his dad. Long story short, an AI does not replace a person.
Katie Seagal knocks it out of the park in this movie, directed by LeVar Burton, of all people, who you might know as Geordi from Star Trek. Or the Reading Rainbow guy.
No, Nate, you blew my mind when you texted me the other day that LeVar Burton directed this movie. The Reading Rainbow and Star Trek guy, I had no clue, and I thank you so much for telling me something I had no clue about.
Smart House is a masterpiece. Pixel Perfect is a trip.
When your dad starts dating Alexa.
What are you looking at, you hockey puck?
I feel like in a world where people pretend like Black Mirror is good, we have to vote for this.
I'm always surprised when I see pre-2000s movies handle AI. A lot of the time, they are surprisingly accurate with how some things are.
The Santa Claus 2 is really accurate.
Rocky 4 is extremely accurate.
We got Cadet Kelly up against Up, Up, and Away, a movie I rewatched this afternoon.
Ordered by her new ex-military stepdad, Hilary Duff, Kelly Collins, enrolls in military school. Struggling to conform to the demands of the school, she also faces abuse from her commanding officer and almost drops out. However, for some reason, she sticks it out after falling for a classmate and decides to join the drill team. I don't know why a lot of movies that kind of have this storyline rely on love interests for the characters to get strength to continue on.
Because their target audience is 12-year-old girls, but they're written by 40-year-old men, so they just assume that makes sense.
These are Disney Channel original movies, Alden.
Josh, tell us about Up, Up, and Away.
A boy is the only family member without superpowers in this Disney film. The world depends on him saving his family from computerized brainwashers. Will he realize that it doesn't take superpowers to be a hero in time to help them defeat the villains? And I want to quote somebody from Letterboxd. I did not say this. Somebody else did. I have not seen this movie.
Way better than Black Panther.
There was a comment that said that, Jory, but I wasn't going to repeat that one. This one says, all in caps, "This is the most underrated DCOM ever. Sky high hoop."
Yeah, it's a good thing you didn't say that, Josh.
My only thing with this movie, though, is just that their weakness is foil, aluminum foil. Like, what? They're in the cafeteria, and like a friend is like, "Oh, think fast," and just throws a balled up thing of aluminum foil, and he catches it, and it just is like nearly kills him. It's so silly. But if I was judging that final round of the military competition, and people started ribbon dancing, they would get like a 4 out of 10 from me. I like Cadet Kelly. I think more people remember it in the DCOM world.
I'm with you, Matt. It's no major pain, but I do like the way that they portray the military academy.
It's hard to not vote for, I think, the forgotten queen of Disney Channel, Hilary Duff here.
Let me start off by talking about Miracle in Lane 2.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? This is a serious movie.
Miracle in Lane 2, I guess this film is technically a biopic about Justin Yoder. They cast Frankie Muniz, who was hot off the first season of Malcolm in the Middle, in a wheelchair for the role. Most of the movie focuses on his overprotective parents not letting him try sports, even though his older brother is very athletic, mostly just because of his disability. He then has to clean a neighbor's garage after getting in trouble and fighting with his brother, who turns out to be the father of the first female soapbox car driver, who tragically died young in a swimming accident. Justin then decides he wants to race soapbox as well. In his first race, he is hospitalized after a crash. Seth, Justin's older brother, comes to his aid and convinces the rules committee to compete again, this time in like the tournament or whatever, with a handbrake instead of like a typical foot-powered brake. And then Justin wins the tournament and asks God if everyone in heaven is perfect, and then God shows him a vision of angels, wheelchair-bound angels. Then they show us real footage of Justin's race. They now have a break in the official All-American Soapbox Derby tournament that you can compete with either a hand break or a foot break, and they call the hand break the Justin break.
On paper, if A24 remakes this, it's going to the Academy.
Gotta kick it up. This was going to be the first year that Marshall Middle School was not going to have a dance team. All that changes when the new biology teacher, Mrs. Bartlett, agrees to be the coach. Now the girls need to prove that they are ready to compete and are able to win, not only to themselves, but to their parents and coach. Using the chant, "Si se puede," or "Yes, I can," the dance team builds their confidence to perform. I've heard of Gotta Kick It Up, so I guess the cultural relevance is there for that one a little bit more than the Frankie Muniz one, which is a little interesting because of how big Frankie Muniz is and was, kind of for a nostalgia trip to that era.
Yeah, I think society has forgotten this movie about as much as Frankie Muniz has, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
Oof.
Sorry, Frankie.
I do think that the story is really heart-touching. I actually really enjoy what this movie's trying to say. It's just not well executed.
I vote Miracle in Lane 2 over Gotta Kick It Up.
All right, we've got the Shia LaBeouf showdown coming up next. We've got the Even Stevens movie up against True Confessions. I'm excited for this round. I really am.
I love the Even Stevens movie. I didn't like grow up with the show, like, to be honest. Like, I've seen episodes but like for some reason I've always been really attached to the movie, and it's one of my favorite Disney Channel original movies. Spoilers, because honestly the ending is Kino. Like, you got Shia LaBeouf falling off a cliff. You think they actually killed off Even Steven, and it turns out to like be this whole like prank. I love the Even Stevens movie. I think it's one of the best movies on this bracket about family, and it's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Jory, it's time for you to unravel the True Confessions.
Oh no.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. What is so funny about True Confessions?
There was nothing funny about True Confession.
There's nothing funny about it, but there's something really funny about you telling people not to laugh at it.
This movie is interesting. I feel like it tries to cast a light on the struggles of a family living and also raising a mentally challenged child. I think Shia LaBeouf's performance is actually very good. It was much better than what I expected. Like, as soon as I started this movie, I was a little worried that the rest of the movie isn't really there to support him, though.
No, it's strange because she's like a YouTuber, but ahead of her time. Like, she's making these video blogs, but I'm like, what is she uploading this onto?
Once she's like, I bet you totally think like I'm like a psycho or something. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. You're doing this in like the year 2000. Where are you putting this?
Shia LaBeouf, when he auditioned for this movie, almost didn't get it because he apparently overdid it in terms of his portrayal of being mentally challenged. And then he spent 2 weeks studying people who were mentally handicapped and got a better groove of the character. True Confessions, though, honestly, still to this day, it can make me cry. It breaks my heart. And this was the one moment where Shia LaBeouf transcended as an actor from becoming just a kid we knew on a sitcom to a kid who had the potential to be a true actor and adapts a character who's totally different from him.
Up next, we've got the Cheetah Girls up against Stuck in the Suburbs. The Cheetah Girls, a group of cringeworthy Spice Girls want-to-be, perform at a birthday party. Then they plan to be the first freshmen to win their talent show in the school's history. A record executive then wants to give them a deal, and the Raven-Symoné Cheetah Girl asserts her dominance as the leader, songwriter, and manager of the group, and this pisses off all the other Cheetah Girls. Then one of their dogs runs away from home and gets stuck in the sewer system of Manhattan, so the Cheetah Girls sing to calm the dog down, and the dog is promptly rescued.
Together we can shoot the moon, stop the rain, even ride a hurricane.
Yeah, I'm not too partial to the Cheetah Girls. I think it's really, really cheap, but I want to hear about Stuck in the Suburbs, Jory.
Teenager Brittany is bored with her quiet suburban life. She finds excitement when her phone is switched out with the phone of Jordan Cahill. Jordan, only the top teen pop singer, has come to her town to make a music video. Brenda Song is in this one, so it must be Kino. Same tier as The Social Network.
Cheetah Girls, I think, holds up pretty well. I don't know much about Stuck in the Suburbs, to be honest.
In the Carol Baskin Girls, you have a group of Spice Girl wannabes who think that they have the ability and talent to be pop sensations. And then in Stuck in the Suburbs, you have like normal-ish teenagers who think like life sucks until a celebrity comes to their town. And I do think that that's a really interesting take, as opposed to like this protagonist syndrome fueled Cheetah Girls movie.
A lot of my friends, like, their first concert, a lot of people will say was the Cheetah Girls, which I find really interesting.
The Wiggles were touring at the same time, and if you chose to go to the Cheetah Girls over the Wiggles, you can unsubscribe from this YouTube channel.
I don't think our viewer base is old enough to know about either.
I'm picking Cheetah Girls.
Together we can shoot the moons of the rain.
And that's why I picked Cheetah Girls.
The last matchup of this first and long round is High School Musical up against Camp Rock. Alden, what is High School Musical about if you're living under a rock or even younger than us?
Troy Bolton, a popular basketball star, and Gabriella, a shy, academically gifted newcomer, discover that they share a secret passion for singing. When they both sign up for the lead roles in the school musical, the jocks, the brainiacs, and the drama kids try their best to separate the pair and keep them off stage. The attempt to keep the pecking order of the school is thwarted when the other students get inspired to show off their hidden talents.
We're soaring, flying.
There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach.
All right, Josh, I need you to sing one song from Camp Rock that is as memorable as any song in High School Musical now.
On my way back to my home in preparation for this, I'm like, let me turn on the Camp Rock soundtrack. I'm like, it's been a while. Let me see if there actually is a banger on this that's in the same tier as High School Musical. And I kept going, no, not that one.
Camp Rock has been getting roasted online. It is the butt of so many jokes on TikTok. I don't see really that many cringy moments from High School Musical.
What are those two kids doing in a tree?
Next round, we're going to try to get through this a little bit quicker than that last round. This is the speed round. Don't Look Under the Bed up against Under Wraps. On the count of 3, we are all going to say which one we think should move on. 3, 2, 1.
Don't look under the bed.
Under Wraps.
Don't Look Under the Bed.
Under Wraps.
3-2. Don't Look Under the Bed's moving on.
Yes!
Up next, we've got The Luck of the Irish versus Johnny Tsunami. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Luck of the Irish.
The Luck of the Irish.
Johnny Tsunami.
Surf's Up.
Luck of the Irish?
Ooh, I'm not mad if Luck of the Irish goes on. Okay, I'm cool with it.
The Color of Friendship versus Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
Josh is the only one who stands above apartheid.
All right, Xenon up against the other me. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Xenon 2049.
The other me.
Xenon.
Xenon Jury Runner 2049.
We've got Get a Clue up against Brink. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Get a clue.
Brink.
Get a clue?
A certified Brink classic. We got Smart House up against Cadet Kelly. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Smart House.
Smart House.
Cadet Kelly.
Smart House.
Smart House.
Miracle in Lane 2 up against True Confessions. No One Laugh. 3, 2, 1.
True Confessions.
True Confessions.
True Confessions.
True Confessions.
True Confessions.
The Cheetah Girls up against High School Musical. Ready? 3, 2, 1. High School Musical.
High School Musical.
High School Musical.
We're now into the Elite 8. This is something digestible.
Damn, we finally have good movies on this list.
I do think that these are 8 of the ones worth watching now.
They really are.
We've got The Luck of the Irish up against Don't Look Under the Bed. I love like the cult kind of like playground, like mystery surrounding Don't Look Under the Bed.
Wait, hold on. You were just talking about how much you loved Halloween Town over Don't Look Under the Bed, and now you're switching it?
I'm saying that's the best element.
Okay. Oh,
If I were to watch one of these right now, knowing what Don't Look Under the Bed actually is, The Luck of the Irish is one of the most fun times you will have watching a Disney Channel original movie. It's cheesy, it's campy, but it has fun with its premise, and it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Matt, what are your kind of grievances with Luck of the Irish compared to Don't Look Under the Bed?
Once again, Don't Look Under the Bed was held away from us as viewers for a really long time. Luck of the Irish was still pretty accessible. You could catch it on TV pretty often. That's why I'm always so excited to gravitate towards Don't Look Under the Bed. It was this forbidden fruit of the Disney Channel original movies, and now we can all enjoy it. I like it, though I feel like I've seen it so many more times than Luck of the Irish, so I'm really divided.
It sounds like it's also like genuinely trying to be scary for kids, which is interesting.
And it did not really live up to this like urban legend hype to me. Whereas Crybaby Lane at least had like a mystery and like this compelling element. There's too many fantasy elements in Don't Look Under the Bed that don't really make it scary to anyone older than 8 or 9, maybe.
You're swaying me, Nate.
I am casting my vote for The Luck of the Irish. You guys take it away from here.
Yeah, I also think I am.
Yeah, Luck of the Irish. Go for it.
I was going to vote Don't Look Under the Bed.
Oh, thank you, Josh.
Don't Look Under the Bed. 3-piece. Let's go, Matt.
What the fuck happened? What happened?
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off versus Xenon, the girl of the 21st century.
Xenon, hands down. Does Eddie $1 Million Cook-Off have like a song that you can sing? No, it doesn't.
We need a girl power in that final four.
All right, Brink versus Smart House. Here's your girl power, Josh. Shut the fuck up. Smart House is winning. Brink's cool and all, and I really like the way it's shot. It's definitely one of the more unique sports movies on this bracket, but Smart House, I will stand by, is the best directed movie on this entire bracket.
Does the Smart House have a gender?
You're not our mom, Pat. You're not our mom, Pat.
Yeah, it's Leela from Futurama, Josh.
She's been married 4 times.
But anyway, Smart House is going.
True Confessions up against High School Musical.
Now you can laugh.
I think we've got quite the final four here. Don't Look Under the Bed, Xenon, Smart House, and High School Musical.
Matt, I need to hear you fight for Don't Look Under the Bed over Xenon.
This is the point in the show where I stop thinking about myself and start thinking about the listeners and the viewers. So that's where I would argue Xenon. Don't Look Under the Bed. It is a forgotten gem, and I don't feel like it gets enough attention this is a show about spotlighting underrated films. This is its one moment.
Don't Look Under the Bed is moving on to the finals. Now we've got Smart House versus High School Musical. 2 Goliaths of Disney Channel original movies.
This alone could be like the final.
Ooh.
Just High School Musical and neither of its sequels. I feel like I want to say Smart House.
I've probably seen High School Musical more than Smart House, but I thought, okay, what's instantly the worst scene in each of these movies? I couldn't think of something in Smart House off the bat, but in High School, you go right to that Gabriella song.
Oh,
We have 0 bad scenes versus 1 bad scene.
If Disney Plus were to announce one of these films was either getting like a remake or a soft sequel or a reboot or something, they've tried with High School Musical, the series, the show or whatever. It's terrible. It's literally, I couldn't get through the first episode. The brand value of High School Musical started off so strong. The fact that this movie was the phenomenon that it was is awesome. But I think you can also look at High School Musical as the turning point in Disney Channel as a whole. Disney Channel lost its niche after this because every show became, okay, we need to make sure that we can sell these child actors as singers, as performers. They have a show, they have merchandise, and you look at shows like Austin and Ally, and while they have a lot of talent behind them, they're not as good as like even Stevens. The whole like Hannah Montana phenomenon came and went, and every single show needed to have a teen pop star. I think High School Musical did a lot of negative for the entertainment of children like content. And I think Smart House has a couple of interesting ideas, and it's something I'd like to see done again.
Yes. No, I completely agree with you, Nate. A great point. Like, if we're looking at DCOMs and what they represent in original storylines and just true and fresh, and how High School Musical came in and kind of shook it up, a good way, but also kind of a bad way of the heart of all of this, I'm voting Smart House over High School Musical. Totally.
Hell yeah. Her is the best movie of the decade.
speaking of Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus does have a cameo in High School Musical.
Did you know Miley Cyrus is in Big Fish?
Oh, yeah, she is.
Isn't Ashley Tisdale in Donnie Darko?
the best 2 Disney Channel original movies, Don't Look Under the Bed and Smart House. Didn't think it would get down to these 2, honestly. I don't know if anyone could have predicted this.
Yeah, this is wild.
What's interesting is that both of the endings of these movies are very similar. One is an imaginary friend, and one is this AI that runs a house, and it's a character standing up to both of them and saying, hey, I'm letting go from you. You have no control over me anymore. The people who are tuning in and listening in and know and enjoy these movies would want Smart House. I think it's the better directed film, so I'm going to say that.
I feel like Smart House also has a stronger cultural footprint than Don't Look Under the Bed, because Don't Look Under the Bed has that whole, the urban legend thing, how it was lost media for a while. But Smart House was always, low-key celebrated as one of the best Disney Channel originals.
We did it. Can't thank you enough, Matt, for joining us on this escapade, creating this bracket, handpicking these movies, and dubbing Smart House as the greatest Disney Channel original movie.
3 months in the making of this, and it has been an honor, and I can't wait to come back in another 3 months.
I think next time we have you on, we're going to guess your top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Ooh, I'm down for that.
I like that.
That'll be a good one.
Thank you so much for having me. For the folks listening, check out Hoot A Half.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching this week's episode of Duel of the Takes. Be sure to check the links in the description.